you came back from a debilitating motorcycle accident just a year and a half ago that almost took your life, and it seems like you've really had a new lease in life, not just in your wrestling career, but overall. I mean, how have things changed for you? Having a son, surviving that, going through all the adversity, people rallying support for you, and now you as well paying it forward and also doing all the great things you're doing outside of the ring with your apps.
Well, it kind of changes you. I mean, when you come that close to dying, I think it would change anybody. I don't think I'm special in that regard. But I tell my friends, when you know the Grim Reaper's got you on speed dial, that kind of just changes your perspective on everything. I was dying on a soccer field. I was bleeding out on that soccer field. So wow. I remember that. And I didn't know how bad my foot was hurt at the time. I knew it was hurt, but of course, I didn't know how bad. I was just concerned for my girlfriend who was on the bike with me, and luckily she just kind of got knocked out pretty good. That was luckily all. I wouldn't have been able to deal with it if she would have been, if she would have got seriously hurt or something even worse. I honestly wouldn't have been able to deal with that at all. But as far as the foot, they were able to close my throat open. I mean, close and get me to the hospital and everything. And my foot was just nearly severed. Both leg bones were broken right above the ankle. The foot was smashed beyond, not beyond repair, thankfully, but the doctor couldn't count the breaks. And that was a scary thing for me to hear. I asked this doctor who's got a PhD, and he's like, it's too much for me to count. I'm like, Jesus, man. And so there was worry if I would ever walk again, and then if I would ever walk normal, and a massive chance that I would never wrestle again. So, and it was all my fault. I like to tell people that I kind of wish I had somebody to blame it on. But I don't. And it's humiliating, especially when you're an intelligent guy, to do something so stupid. You just put yourself, you're the bullseye on the dartboard, and everybody's throwing darts at you at that point. And deservedly so. But at the same time, maybe because it was my fault and I had nobody else to blame, that might have been part of what pushed me, to just, climb out of that hole and start doing what I'm doing. And there was a bright side because I was laid up for all those months. I couldn't do anything but eat and fool around. So next thing you know, my beautiful woman Karen, is with child, and months later we got a beautiful little boy. So
congratulations, man! Sebastian, right? Little her baby.
Yeah, Sebastian Gregory is his name.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. And one thing you've been able to do as well outside of the ring is develop some pretty kick-ass apps. I believe the company is Figure 4 Apps, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's I don't know if I ever told you the story, Fred, but the main coder is a professor at the University of Kentucky or Northern Kentucky, one of those universities. Seems like that's something I should know, but anyway, he was a great friend of Canyon as well, and somehow we started talking about something, and I had the idea to do my own app in WWE. I do like to say I'm ahead of the curve when it comes to stuff like that. I was on MySpace first. I was on Twitter first before any of the other guys. I used to have my MySpace page linked off of my WWE profile because they didn't even know what MySpace was. And I think for a short term, I had Twitter on there, and I was trying to. And this is years ago. I got released in 2010, so you're talking about 2009, maybe even 8. I'm not sure exactly when I joined Twitter, but I was trying to explain to them what it was, and like I think this is really going to be big. What do you mean? That sort of shit stuff. And I'm just trying to explain to them, and they wasn't hearing it. And that's how WWE is at times. Unless they hear it from a third party, they don't believe it. Which is a shame because there are a lot of intelligent guys in that locker room. But so yeah, now years later, you can't go 15 seconds on that program without hearing something about Twitter. But I was trying back in the day. Anyway, going back, I knew apps were going to be big. I was like, everybody's carrying around that little cell phone. Not everybody has a tablet, and you hardly see anybody carrying around laptops anymore, as opposed to before the smartphone came out. And I just kind of thought that apps were going to be the way to go, but I knew then that if I gave them that idea, that there wouldn't be no Hurricane app, it'd be a John Cena app or a DX app or whatever. They wouldn't. They'll snatch an idea now in a heartbeat. Trust me on that. And so I just waited. I kind of had a feeling that my time was coming to an end there. I kind of plateaued in everything I'd done, and I wasn't happy on that ECW show anyway, the WWE ECW. And so anyway, when I left, things kind of fell into place, and I met the guy who was the main coder for the company, and Next thing you know, we're developing apps. We just developed one for Lizard Lit Towing, which is True TV's one of their #1 rated shows. And they're coming back on air in by the end of the month. So we just finished one for them, and a lot of irons in the fire. I'm making money with my fingertips and my brain instead of landing on my head, which is always a plus.
And actually, right around that time too, you started doing Highway to Helms.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would say I didn't forecast. I can admit that. I had no idea that was going to kind of grow to what it's grown to. We just did over 2 million downloads on iTunes, which is, I wish I had a nickel or something for every download, but it's a free download. But that was the idea of a guy named Jeff Katz. I don't know if you guys know him. He was a part of that Wrestling Revolution
project, right?
Yeah. He's a big producer in Hollywood. He's a part of films like Wolverine, Jason versus Freddy, Superman Returns. Not that movie was particularly good, but that's not his. That's not his job. He just helps produce it and put it together. And I've known Jeff for a long, long time, and he's been a big fan of mine and a close friend. And he came up with the idea to do the video pod. And there's going to be MMA, wrestling, and his sales pitches. He just wanted me to be me, and I'd never done like a talk show type thing. And I was like, what am I going to talk about for 30 minutes? And I can't sit there and talk. What am I going to say? And as you guys know, 30 minutes will go in a flash, and the next thing you know, you're talking for 2 hours. And I just had a lot of people that want to be on the show. It's not even, I don't even have to go out and find guests now. People just buzz me like, I want to do your show and stuff like that. And I really didn't. Like I said, I didn't forecast that being a success. I had no idea about that world. I never done podcasts or anything like that, but it's been tremendous.
And you've actually gotten some honors from, I believe it was like one of the top-rated sports podcasts or some. You guys had a number of accolades for it too already.
Yeah, like when iTunes would put out their top 10 list, and we were in that top 10 like all the time. We were steadily beating like a UFC, like official UFC podcasts and NFL and stuff like that. That were in our category. So we're doing pretty good. And like I said, I had no idea. I know we were crashing that website quite a bit. We would do geekweek.com, but it would go through Justin TV, and we were crashing the piss out of that thing. And can you say piss?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, man.
And I'm trying to be nicer now. So that's the thing. I'm getting sponsors for Highway to Helms, so I might have to downplay the F-bombs. Because when I used to do it live and we had a chat room, that was a part of the game that the people would count the F-bombs. Because once we get into it and we're talking about it, when you get really passionate and animated, I'm kind of a little southern ghetto boy, so the little F-bombs will just be flying out like birds.